up on YouTube.
Always. Always.
For our growing YouTube fans.
All three of them.
But again, if you find us on YouTube, go ahead and download that Twitch app on your phone, jump in, and you can chat with us live while we do our shows on Mondays and on Sundays during the early game.
Indeed.
All right. Well, we got a lot going on this week. First week of playoffs in many leagues.
Indeed.
And we'll talk about Nick and I who faced off in our Redraft Keeper League. We'll just get it off, rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, it didn't go well for
There's still hope. So I need, I believe, 71 points from Lamar Jackson. And hey, as long as you got a guy in the game, I still got a horse in the race.
I just don't see it happening. That's so many points.
Just for fun, we can share with the listeners. We did a little bit of research. I believe the highest single game fantasy point total for the game was 71 point something, just over, like right what I need. However,
but not from a quarterback.
That did come from a wide receiver. That was Tyreek Hill's monster game against Tampa Bay.
Was that 2 weeks ago?
I think it's been longer even, but
I think it was in the first quarter as well.
It's all a blur
for the most part.
Other than that, I think the highest quarterback totals are in that kind of 50-60 range.
Yeah, so our scoring is slightly higher.
So all we need is the best quarterback performance
like
by about
400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns,
he doesn't even need to
100
throw.
yards rushing.
Just fully, every play, just a rush to Lamar up the middle for a touchdown, and maybe throws like a couple. Is Mark Andrews active tonight? That's good.
That is a great question.
I'm not sure about that one. I haven't heard a lot about him throughout the week. But
I think he was active, actually.
Yeah, the other running back performances that were the highest, I believe, is between Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry. Both had kind of up in that 50-60 range as well.
Right.
But
yeah, no, he's active.
I don't believe a running back has eclipsed the 70 points in a game mark.
That would take, even with Derrick Henry's big day yesterday, I only got 46 points
that's
against
what killed me. What killed me.
That's kind of what put you in the hole.
So I ran into Derrick Henry and Russell Wilson both having big days. And you know what really hurt me is I would be alive if my defense, it was an IDP league. Nobody over 7 points just did not show up. And it'd be like that sometimes.
You can't forget about the defense. Not saying you did, but it plays a pretty big role.
I played guys with names, guys you heard of, T.J. Watt, Joey Bosa, guys that should get some sacks. They did not. They did not do that.
Never heard of them.
Plus matchups except for Watt. But you know what? I'll let it sting for a little bit, but I'll tell you what. I take solace in that I'm still alive in 4. So not time to pack up and quit just yet.
So many other leagues.
Gotta shake off the disappointment and jump back in it because there are still championships that can be won, and I plan to do so. So on a much more attainable level, a thing that is important for me tonight is I need Lamar Jackson to outscore the Ravens' defense.
Did you go all in on Lamar Jackson this year?
So I did. I have him in 2 leagues, and again, I ignored our advice, which I should have followed, to not draft a quarterback early. But those rushing totals from last year, he had rushed for more yards than Chris Carson.
Sometimes you just get into the draft
yards.
and you're like, he's sitting there.
I thought his rushing floor was so high that just the floor every game was going to be about 30,
right?
And his floor actually honestly has been at least 20 a game, which is not terrible. It's just not that.
Well, he's been terrible and still 20 points. So
yeah, because he's been rushing in touchdowns. Right. I also thought that he would get more touchdowns this year because he didn't rush in that many last year.
Nick Chubb with the touchdown tonight, 3 carries, 13 yards, and the touchdown.
Okay.
And Njoku with an early 2 catches, 31 yards. So
gotcha. But again,
Njoku usage? Any?
I did see
keeper
Njoku
on the roster,
got snagged in one of our leagues just before we got on the air here. So there are a couple people that want to see what he does, but there's this tight end I've heard about. I think his name's Harrison Bryant. Apparently he is a tight end for the Cleveland Browns. He was actually
unfamiliar
on the Yahoo app, ranked higher if you were just going and looking for a guy to pick up. And that's for his projections for this week. So a lot of people do go by that. And I think, the more you play, the more you watch different shows like us.
Now Lamar Jackson up the middle for a 5-yard touchdown.
Oh, it's happening. It is happening.
I don't think it's going to happen, Mike. Only 3 minutes left in this quarter.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I think you need some 2-point conversions to go your way as well.
He's setting records.
Excuse me.
I need it all. I need all the points just for Lamar. Big trust.
Maybe like a turnover and out on the goal line so he can run in another one.
Just again, no, they need to get it on their own one, and he just runs 99-yard touchdowns in over and over.
Over and over.
That's the plan. Okay. I slipped into his DMs. I told him the plan. He's on board.
I don't think he read that message.
He is. He's a fan-friendly guy. He listens, he tries. Unlike Josh Jacobs, who just trolls you and hurts your feelings.
What was with that?
So as that has evolved, to watch our last game, I was tilting hard because I had Josh Jacobs. So I was particularly affected by this. And he gets on, and I think the tweet was, looks like I'm not playing today, with like 3 of the laughing / crying emoji faces. He did play. Didn't play great. So it might as well.
If you're going to troll that hard, you better
show up. Yeah. And they were going against a tough matchup, so he got around 10 points. I don't know, man. I kind of want to hate him a little bit. I'm going back and forth. There are moments where I'm like, what a jerk, and then there are other moments where I'm like,
I get it.
So I'm going to maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he still is a player. He's a guy that I'm going to be glancing at in redraft next year.
Yeah, he's out there as much as he can be, but he gets hurt a lot. Too much.
And also, it's like he's tough. I'll give him that. So the whole week,
sure.
I'm like,
runs
he's
hard.
a tough guy. He runs hard. I think he's going to play. And they were like, Gruden's like, I don't know. And I was like, he's a Gruden grinder. He's going to get in there.
Yeah.
So again, I don't question his toughness, but so if I'm a football player, I don't necessarily care about your fantasy team, but I want people to be a fan
generally
of mine.
like me.
I want them to buy my merchandise, come to my things. Yeah, just like me as a guy.
You like to be a fan favorite,
And a lot of NFL players parlay their careers. Like if you get enough people that like you can be in broadcasting, you can do advertisements, you can do a lot of other money beyond your football,
right?
Because you're popular. Peyton Manning is a great example, but wouldn't you rather frame it instead of trolling everybody's like, I did it. I'm doing it for you. I'm fighting through the pain. And just get more people to like you.
No, but it's just gonna be can't make it out there today.
Don't care about you.
Ha ha ha. All right, let's talk about some big performances this week. Aaron Rodgers, your number one quarterback, followed by, just as we'd expect, Drew Lock, Tua, Derek Carr, and Trubisky. Those are your.
That's another great reason why I shouldn't have drafted Lamar so high. I probably could have picked one of those guys up and played him.
Yeah, I think all these players are.
The trouble with those guys
most of them are
is they could put up a week like this, a lot of them, and then go out next week and give you 7 points. So Drew Lock could easily fall back down to Tua could do it.
Or if you start
Mitchell Trubisky.
Derek Carr a couple weeks ago, 5 points.
Yeah, and then you drop him and all of a sudden 46-37. Yep. So again, fantasy, a fickle bee. And man, it's just,
All right, let's talk about some other big performance.
Here we go.
This is my nightmare.
That's where I'm at.
Right. Yeah, I think that's fair. Derrick Henry had the biggest day in our. Yeah, we need some more drop noise.
Okay,
give it to us.
See. So again, going against Derrick Henry in 2 of my leagues.
Oh, I made a mistake.
46 points in our league, but 215 rushing, 2 touchdowns, 2 targets, 2 receptions.
Not enough to overcome him in 1, but again, if Lamar comes through, I'm hopeful that I can eke by in the family league and try to repeat and champion in there. Hold on to my championship belt that I bought for the league. So,
Jonathan Taylor, 150 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, a couple catches as well.
Heidi ho, neighbor. Jonathan Taylor, man, he's showing up, and it could be just in time for you to win your fantasy playoff.
My team was DOA. I mean, just DOA after about probably 3 quarters through the first set of games. It was brutal playing against Derrick Henry, playing against David Montgomery, playing against Dalvin Cook. Brutal. And then all of his players got hurt, and mine went off. So
there you go.
Thank you, John. JT, thank you. Next guy, Stephon Diggs. I needed 15 points from Stephon Diggs.
Yep.
And he had 10 catches for 130 yards and a touchdown, and it was glorious. The touchdown put me 2 points ahead, and
there you go. Like I said, you don't want to throw in the towel too soon.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
Panther Sweat gifting 3 subs to the community.
Very generous.
Thank you.
Get some people in the chat with him today.
Now we need to carry him in Apex. I think.
All right.
I think that's the deal. He gift subscriptions, and then we carry him in Apex.
Gotcha.
All
right.
Thank you.
I'll bring
much.
the muscle. Nick will bring the handsome. You bring the sweat. We got
That's
it.
right.
All right.
Yeah.
Go
Panther
Panthers.
Sweat. Hey, everybody. I think it may just be us right now. I don't know if anybody else. Yes, I want a chicken dinner. There's Pocket. Pocket's in here.
Winner.
Oh, man. All right. People are showing up. It's a party now.
That's all right. Filter in. We were a little late
sure.
getting going. Here's the story. You want to know the story of why we were a slight bit late getting going?
You tell it. You tell it.
I'm in my car. I'm ready to drive over, do the show. I'm thinking about fantasy. I'm listening to fantasy podcasts on the way over. I get a call. And it's like, hey, I just ordered like DoorDash, and last time I was at your house, I had your address on there. I forgot to change it. Can you wait for my food and then bring me my food? And I did, because I'm a great guy. Yeah. And so I brought it over. We had to wait for Nick to eat the Mexican food. I'll throw a picture up on the gram.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know what I'm supposed to be
good
doing
looking
here.
meal.
It was delicious.
Oh, lost by 4 points.
Ooh, that hurts.
Yikes. So you played Hurts, and congratulations, because it was a pretty good move, actually.
Well, it wasn't, because if you would have started Kari wins by 1.
So I get that, but still, just to have the balls to start Hurts, and then he goes and plays well. Yeah, I think like 28 points.
Absolutely.
I was impressed. I never would have fired him up. I'm sorry that it didn't work out
106
for you.
yards rushing and 167 yards passing and a touchdown. So, I mean, pretty
what
good.
it is. It's tough when you lose by those slim margins.
He did
at
lose
least,
a fumble.
At least with Nick, I'm going to lose by 30 or 40, which is almost better. But
We'll trounce you.
so Hurts,
yeah,
though.
sorry.
Let's talk about
I was
Hurts.
hungry.
He gets in, takes over for just the
Michael Vick-esque.
the feeble Carson Wentz, runs for over 100 yards. And Miles Sanders, a guy who I was, again, I wasn't, let me talk real
rushing,
quick about
2 touchdowns, 4 catches.
About my differences on opinion from Miles Sanders to Zeke. Miles Sanders, when he's played, has still looked good. He's got no opportunity because their offense is bad. They can't get anything going. They're coached. I don't know, man. I don't feel like they're getting well coached right now.
Okay.
So I wasn't as just angry at him, the guy. I was more angry at the situation. Whereas Zeke, if you watch him play, when you watch that Ravens game and he just ran into the line, like Zeke looks bad when he's playing. Again, they got lineman stuff, this and that.
You're just on the Zeke hate train.
There's a lot of quitting that guy.
Hater.
So anyways,
It's all right.
so Miles Sanders I have held on to, and now I'm in the boat of like, well, now can I start Miles Sanders? They've got some tough matchups coming up, I believe. I'm trying to think who they play next. So
Let's see. They play Arizona next and then Dallas.
So Arizona and Dallas actually not that bad of matchups. The thing with Miles Sanders is his big game. It was against the New Orleans Saints, who are very highly ranked against the run.
That was the first time they've allowed over 100 yards rushing in 56 games.
He did have one big run that can kind of skew the stats a little bit, but I believe he had 3 or 4 receptions. He had another touchdown. So it wasn't just that one play. Like, he got points in other spots.
I mean, he only rushed for 33 more yards on his other 13
And on that long run, he had a good hole. But again, he still looked fast. You know, he's elusive. He's got good hands. If they can get him going, get him using him, get in the red zone, get some points.
I'm
not starting him. Still concerned.
Is this the number 1 seed podcast only? Oops, wrong show. What do you mean?
In your fantasy playoffs. No, we take number 1 seeds like Pocket Pool and Marcy, and we go all the way down to the 12 seed.
Yeah.
Like
all the seeds.
Yeah.
Pocket Alshon Jeffrey touchdown sighting. I did see that.
Happened. He's still out there. All these old guys that you kind of left for dead showed up this week. T.Y. Hilton gets a touchdown.
AJ
Green, take a drink, gets a touchdown.
Where's Marcio
Alshon Jeffrey gets a touchdown.
Start drinking.
So when she watches the replay, she can
she
can drink for the AJ Green comment. But
do you know who's still good? Travis Kelce. 8 for 136 and a touchdown. Good. T.Y. back-to-back weeks. Pocket's right. Rolling out T.Y. next week?
So, again, the narrative is that he's good against Houston. He was last time. I think you can try T.Y. Hilton. I am not. So, again, let's say it wasn't the name T.Y. Hilton.
Right.
Let's say it was Nelson Aguilar doing the same kind of thing, having a couple big games in a row. If it wasn't T.Y., you wouldn't be like, yeah, he's back. You'd just be like, all right, this guy put together a couple good games. Maybe he can do it again. I'm more in that boat.
Yeah, but you have the history.
Should I look for a pivot? Let's see. All right. Read the full comment for me.
What's up, guys? Happy Monday. Advancing in the playoffs in 2 of 3 spots. Unfortunately, I have a Big Ben in both those leagues. How worried should I be about Big Ben?
Worried about Ben.
Should I look for a pivot?
Deontay Johnson, kind of the story is that he had a couple drops and he got benched because of the drops. He's, again, this is his second year in the league, so he's not a rookie, but he's still,
fully established.
I expect that they're going to need him. They're going to keep bringing him back. He's probably one of the most dynamic players on that team. Claypool, he's a rookie. He's a little bit hot and cold.
The thing is,
Juju's
when
out there. They got
Deontay's
talent.
been in there until the last couple games. He's been commanding 8, 10, 12 targets. So
But they're playing
they
tougher
wanna use
teams
him.
now. That's part of the problem. They had a rough, they had an easy start of their schedule, and now it gets rougher. Another thing is that their run game has disappeared. So James Conner comes back. He's off the COVID list and comes out, and what do you have, like 10 yards? It was
Not much.
Not a strong day for James Conner.
Dub, what's your other options? Let us know who the top few on the waivers are. If you guys weren't in here, Panther Spike gifted 3 subscriptions a few minutes ago. So thank you very much to him.
Oh, I like
So welcome Izuzi Vert.
Very
Manatee
nice.
Handy's. Manatee Handy's getting a sub. So
Oh.
there you go. And good old Cash Hammer. Cash Hammer.
Cash
Also
Hammer.
joined the community.
All right.
Let's see here.
Sounds like a lawyer name. Like if you have a long-term settlement and you need cash now, call Cash Hammer.
Oh, Cash Hammer.
I like
Now
it.
We're gonna DMCA or whatever it's called. So yeah, Jalen Hurts. Are you starting him in leagues that have big?
Well, that's a
points
great
for the
example
running
of a
backs,
guy
though.
that maybe is out there. Maybe you glance at if you're worried about Ben. Again, I think that rushing floor, anytime you can get a quarterback who can rush for 100 yards in a game, that is hugely important for fantasy.
especially in bonus leagues.
So that'd be a guy I'd be glancing at. What about Taysom Hill? What are your thoughts on Hill this week? He had 28.54 points,
291 passing, 2 touchdowns, 5 rushes for 33 yards.
can always rush in a touchdown. Like he's a guy you could glance at. But again, Drew Brees may come back. Some of the
Taysom Hill can suck it though.
Some of the
I'm not
reports.
starting him. I'm leaving him on waivers. He's not going to be on my roster.
harsh. You just hate the Saints. I get it.
Yeah, I don't hate the Saints. I don't want that to be my quarterback.
Are you sure you
I want
don't
my
hate the
quarterback to
Saints?
throw the ball and be, I don't know, a franchise quarterback. It's whatever. In one league, it's 2 QB league. I have Trubisky and Tua, so I don't have to start Ben. The waiver is Minshew, Mullins, Darnold, and that's 1.
So Minshew, they have not officially called the starter yet. I very much think that he will be, but it's worth noting that he's not yet. Mullins hasn't
Kind of
been
hit or
good.
miss, yeah.
And they just lost Debo. Debo's going to be out with a hamstring injury for it looks like he's already been declared out, so it's got to be pretty bad. Darnold, I still think is an okay talent as a quarterback, but he's on the Jets. The Jets don't score. The Jets are bad.
So Mullins plays Dallas next week. I mean,
I'd probably stick with Ben.
I would too, probably. We'll go Ben.
All right.
Dub, 12 plus 17 equals 6, if you know what I mean.
All right, so we did get Schefter out there, the best in the biz. We got a report from BAM saying that Minshew is starting. So that report came out this morning. I must have missed it.
Interesting.
Another,
I don't know what you mean, Bambo, but yes, the Packers are the number 1 seed now. I
Yep.
believe.
So they have clinched the division because let's see. I think I've got something for this.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
That just couldn't put together the
couldn't do
wins.
it.
They love to let
just
Green
couldn't
Bay
do it.
win that division. It is devastating.
Do you guys expect Gibson back this week or next?
No, I
Or
don't
is he
think
done for the
Gibson's
year?
coming back this year. That's the reports that I've heard. Sounds like the turf toe. It's a tough thing to come back from. Even when you do, you're not 100%. So I'd be hesitant
And
maybe.
a lot of
if they
times
try
with
to
the
push
turf
it.
toe, it's always like maybe next week, maybe next
Yeah.
week, and then it's 5 weeks later, and you have no idea what's going on.
So I missed this when you talk about one of the top quarterbacks of the week, but
Big Mama's handing out biscuits, baby.
Mitch passing out some biscuits. Bears get to win. So not that it's the best.
Yeah,
they're
it's
still
not that you want
mathematically
it,
in the
but
hunt. So
it's fine.
anything can happen. You never know.
12
Survive in
AK
advance.
Aaron plus 17 AK Devonta equals 6 points. I don't know what any of this means. Spam.
Stop, Aaron.
I'm not
We're
reading
not
it
men of
correctly.
numbers.
Yeah. Is McKissick the guy in Washington?
For now,
4 wins in a row for him. Yeah.
so Peyton Barber
been
they'll
solid.
mix in for a couple battering, not great runs.
I mean, I like the team a lot better with Alex Smith in there, especially for McKissick's value, because it doesn't seem like Haskins was using McKissick very much. So.
Haskins hasn't proved to be a very good quarterback in
he's
the
not very
NFL, but yeah, you liked him better with Alex Smith. Alex Smith, he might be back. It sounded like it wasn't
like a calf
a
strain.
major thing.
I think they were just more worried because he might die.
So the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins, the Washington football team with 4 wins in a row, their defense dominating. Here's a fun fact. So I had a league where I was basically on a bye. I've already locked up the playoff spots. There's only four team playoff.
No big deal.
And, yeah, because I'm great. And defense that I went out and picked up was the Cleveland Browns. So, again, I know they got a tough matchup tonight, but because it doesn't matter, their next two matchups, they've got the Giants, who just gave up like 5 sacks, just fumbled all over the place, and then the Jets. So if you're looking for a defense, that one that might be out there because people didn't want to grab them against the Ravens, if you can snag the Browns, I like their matchups for the last 2 weeks.
Okay, I think that's fair. Bamboo, Arizona number 12, Devontae 17. When you combine them, they get a touchdown. I mean, I guess it's fine. I don't understand the math still, but I get it. Drew Lock looked well or played well yesterday.
I think I got something on the math for you.
60% of the time, it works every time.
There you go.
You don't like to see, your next week's opponent with Devontae Adams in the lineup.
Oh,
it's one of those.
So I had a league that it wasn't like a full throw. I started guys in all the spots, but in that one, because Debo got hurt, like the other guy did end up winning, and it could push the Devontae Adams team out of the playoffs, and that was the whole
whole reason.
So I don't know. Again, Nick and I know that there's like you feel a little bit kind of slimy maybe, but it's within the rules, and if it can help your chances to win, I think it's okay to strategically kind of play a soft lineup against a guy that you'd rather see in the playoffs.
Banjo, welcome in. I think I've got to decide between Barber, Gore, Bowden, or Washington if Gibson stays out.
This is my nightmare.
They did not look like they wanted to.
Oh, I love trash.
Now let's see here. Let me look.
They didn't seem like they wanted to use Washington at all. Bowden
had a decent game as far as fantasy production. It was a lot of receptions.
Is this a PPR or non-PPR or half point or what is it?
But yeah, so it's worth keeping an eye on that backfield of who's going to be back because people are in and out. They're kind of 49ers backfield-esque where like guys gone, guys back, guys COVID, guys out, guys injured. He's okay.
7 for 82 for Lynn Bowden with basically all the other passing options out. Gesicki out, Parker out. I'm not buying too much into Bowden yet. I don't like Gore either.
Trying to even think of which Washington he's talking about.
For Miami. Running back.
Never heard of her.
DeAndre Washington. I picked him up.
Nah, it didn't go well for that guy.
He had a not great
I think
game
between him and Bowden, you got to go Bowden after that performance. But
I don't think I would go Bowden. I'd see what else is out there on waivers after this.
If you're in the playoffs, you probably need the highest. You probably need the high ceiling of them. And I think Bowden.
Washington had 13 carries for.
You see Bowden's stats? I think he had 15 points for fantasy.
He did. Yeah, I already read them off.
He did get a touchdown.
No.
Okay, no touchdown. So
I don't think so.
I might ride with Bowden. He's a rookie. He had some hype.
Bowden had 7 catches for 82 yards. That's where he got his points.
Good amount of catches.
I'm stuck in the old throat.
Team I lost by 4 points had Rodgers, Adams, Thomas, and the Rams D. That's they had all pretty good weeks.
Definitely had good weeks.
Good weeks. I like it a lot.
Thomas didn't go nuts. He had like 8 for 84, 9 for 84, something like that. Ramsey had a good week. Rodgers had a good week. Adams had a good week for sure. Devontae DK combo and constellation does look nice for me.
That is that's a good set of wide receivers there.
Yeah, but not in the constellation bracket. Banjo PPR. I'd probably go Bowden, but I'd hope for somebody else, honestly.
Yep, I'd go Bowden. I think of that.
So on half point better than full point. That's why we chose that for our dynasty. I like half point.
I'm glad that I have both types. Like
it's harder when you're down 71 points.
It is, but that way your running backs, they're more relevant. If you get the PPR ones and let's say you got like a Chubb or somebody who's just a very good player, a very good runner, but they don't catch the ball as much. Like speaking of guys that don't catch the ball that much, Ronald Jones, man, I heard a report today that he may have fractured his pinky, the little finger. And
so he's out for the rest of the season?
That's the question. I don't know what the situation is going to be. So I am looking at my dynasty team where we were set. I was the number 1 seed, and now I may lose Rojo. We don't know if Christian's coming back. And I need those 2 guys to be there so bad. In other news, though, another guy that popped up as questionable today with a quad injury was a guy that I was rooting hard for this week, Austin Eckler, who now, because Nick eliminates me, I will be going against next week. And so if he wants to take the week off, rest that quad, I'm okay with that. Don't want to lose to Doug.
Yeah, Doug's got to play him. So Banjo, pretty deep league. So waivers is Deion Lewis, McNichols. Yeah, I think Bowden's your guy unless if Devontae Parker or Gesicki or both play, I may change my answer to something else. We'll have to keep that.
Can't
keep an
lose
eye
to
on that
Doug because then you get a letter in the mail because he doesn't have instant
Yeah.
messenger. It's just like
he will just
gotcha,
flame you over
sucker. Yeah.
You are so dumb.
It takes a little
You
while,
are really
but,
dumb.
but it'll get there. Allen Robinson this week, 9 for 123 and a touchdown. Devontae, so we were talking about 7 for 115 and a touchdown. David Montgomery, your RB7 on the season now after this performance in full PPR.
I believed in David.
I think that's just how gross the season is.
And I knew he had a soft matchups towards the end of the year. As soon as Tariq Cohen went down, I thought that I think I heard a stat that he was in the top 10, like upper top 10 of like guys for targets per game, or it was either targets or route run, but like one of those kind of receiving stats that surprised me that David Montgomery was that involved in kind of the passing offense. But
yeah, another good day, over 100 yards and a touchdown and a few catches.
My guy, Calvin Ridley, having a good day, catching one from Russell Gage. I didn't realize in real time that was who threw it to him.
Right.
So again, my dynasty wide receiver, and I'm pretty psyched about it. So Calvin in dynasty, he's young, he's doing a good job.
You may have to trade Calvin. You need some depth. You need some depth on that roster.
I need Calvin. My depth,
Maybe.
my wide receiver depth is better than my running back depth. I have a ton of depth, but it's like good, not very good, and just bad.
Just because, but that's the thing. If they're not good, it's not depth.
It's depth in a way.
No.
Like quicksand.
Corey Davis underperformed. He had costly fumble.
Oh, I almost played Corey Davis. He'd been doing so good, coming off a huge 40-point game. He was still tired.
I'm pretty sure you even said at the end of the week before, I will find a way to play Corey Davis this week.
I didn't realize that I had actually, on a team that I thought I had him, I had dropped him because I just knew the matchups were bad. Never trusted him enough to play him. For a moment, for like an hour, I had Corey Davis in there and A.J. Brown on the bench. And I was like, nah, can't do that. And I switched it back, and oh, thank goodness. Even though I lost, I would have been kicking myself.
Who do you like for next week? PPR, Dalton Schultz versus San Fran, Irv Smith versus Chicago, Jared Cook versus Kansas City, Jimmy Graham versus Minnesota, Cole Kmet, Tyler Eifert, Jordan Reed. Any of those?
We almost had to make this exact same decision because Hunter Henry went down, but it looks like he came back into that game and finished, and we'll probably still go with Hunter Henry over those type of guys. But I know that Higbee was one that if you go in the sleeper app, he was kind of at the top of the list for projections next week. I don't know if I want to roll out Higbee. Everett's there, but
I'm not starting Higbee until
and if Rudolph's still out, Irv Smith is one that I was kind of leaning towards a little bit. Irv Smith had a good game. But that's a team that just, if things are going well for them and they're running it, they don't love to throw the ball. They've got Justin Jefferson and Thielen, who they're better targets.
Right. And I'm probably going to go Cook against Kansas City. Back-to-back games with 5 targets, 4 targets, and a touchdown.
Does it matter for you whether it's Taysom or Drew Brees?
No.
Does that change your mind at all? Because I think if Brees is there, he didn't really love to throw it to Cook, whereas Taysom's kind of liked him.
There's enough. I mean, he's got a touchdown in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. So you're looking for touchdowns against Kansas City when they're going to have to throw the ball. I'll say Cook as of right now.
So let's see. Is this Jay-Z? Is that how you say it? But down by 19 got Lamar, Dobbins, and the Ravens D. I like your chances. If you just had Lamar, I'd like your chances to pull out 19 points.
Yeah, no. With Dobbins and Ravens D, I think you'll be all right. Is that PPR or non-PPR? Non-PPR, it's a little bit tougher.
Dobbins going to get 10.
Think so?
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Jacobs went full heel, may not draft next year because of yesterday. That's what I'm saying. I'm taking him off my draft sheet. I don't want him.
So I didn't feel the hate from you earlier when you said that, but yeah. So again, you said Josh Jacobs, right? Let me make sure we're talking about the right guy.
Jacobs, yeah.
Yeah. Like, no, it's just unnecessary, and you want guys. You don't want. I don't know. You don't have to care deeply about my fantasy, but again, I don't want guys that are like purposely misleading you when you're trying to make decisions that could, have implications for your team.
Right.
Again, fantasy, it's not life and death, but people take it seriously. People care about it.
Well, you can't do it like
and you're invested.
Hour before the game.
Yeah, like
that's the
people
thing
have spent their whole. And the thing that bothers me the most is like, there's probably a couple annoying guys that get at him and message him, or like just or annoying about fantasy. That happens to football players, but like a huge percentage of the people that have him on their team like probably are rooting for him, probably like him, probably want him to do well and succeed.
Right.
So I think, I don't know. He doesn't strike me as a
half PPR. Yeah,
brightest bulb, but
you'll be all right.
I don't know.
Why does he have to play with our feelings like that? It's unnecessary.
It is. It is. We're here for you. We're going to work
Penny
through it.
on
We're going to be okay.
IR. If he goes next week, that could be my option over Bowden.
So, and here's the other thing. If he had come out and I started him and he put up 30 points in one of the league, then maybe I give him a little bit more forgiveness. But he throws out like 10 points.
Yeah.
Just come on, man. You can't troll and then suck. Like,
yeah, for sure.
what
about
so dumb.
Banjo?
You are really dumb.
Do you like Penny over those other running backs Banjo's got if he's active
so
next week?
Penny is a guy that'd be hard to just start right away. They do have Carlos Hyde, who's been okay.
Right.
The rookie DJ Dallas, he's kind of disappeared a little bit, but he's there still. And, he could take a couple touches. I would want to have Penny, like if you have a slot where you can stash him, just to see how it goes. But if he goes in and all of a sudden Carlos Hyde and DJ Dallas are gone and he gets all of the secondary work, especially if Carson, he's had some injuries. Nick thinks that he gets hurt every other day.
Every single game he gets hurt, yeah.
Not this last couple games, but
I
he's
think
actually been pretty good for you.
Yeah.
But
and Travis Homer, a lot of RBs there.
Penny's an interesting name. So Rashad Penny is he's a running back on the Seahawks. He's been on the injured reserve. He's been out
like
a long
4
time.
years.
Yeah, he's had significant like ACL type injuries multiple times. So we'll see. He could and he hasn't played football for a long time. He's coming off an injury. It's always hard to trust those guys.
Just want to go over a couple more big point scores this week. AJ Brown, the aforementioned, 7 for 112 and a touchdown.
Thanks for trying, AJ. Just wasn't quite enough. I can still keep him for pretty cheap though. So
Tyreek Hill, rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. So 3 for 79 in the air and a touchdown, and then that long carry.
Yeah, that long carry where he kind of tiptoed down the side.
He's a fast guy.
Yeah, that's just
speedy.
the cherry on top.
He's a
for
speedy
sure.
guy.
T.Y. Hilton 5 for 86 and 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins coming back to life. A really tough first
Dub pointing out
2 or
that
3
Travis
quarters.
Homer is still on the team. Travis Homer.
9 for 136. Yeah, 9%
No, thank
Homer.
you.
What about Brandon Ayuk? 16 targets, 10 catches, 119 yards with Debo out.
You're not going to be able to grab Ayuk. He's on a team now. But again, I would be starting Ayuk. Ayuk's good. With Debo going down, he's the main man. He's the first read. They design specific plays to get him the ball. San Francisco, it's just their whole offense is a little tough to trust.
I just don't even look at San Francisco anymore.
But Ayuk's probably the one you want now.
Probably. I mean, of
You're
all
starting
pieces
anybody
right now,
on the team.
But
how did Jordan Reed
still
do?
be excited
Because
about
people had asked me about Jordan Reed as far as kind of an option for tight ends, and I don't remember his name coming up.
So I got a couple targets. But
Season-ending injury, is that right? No.
Every single injury for him.
So he has like 3.3. No wonder we didn't hear about
5
him.
targets.
5 targets is interesting.
Yeah, but they had to throw the ball a lot. They were down most of the game.
And they got Dallas coming up. Dallas isn't great against tight ends, so Jordan Reed's a guy that you could glance at if you were kind of desperate.
Yeah, I'm not excited to start Jordan Reed. That's for sure.
Nightbot throwing somebody on the naughty list.
I know.
Oh
Just
my!
Get him out of here. Get him out.
Come
of
on
here.
now.
Cam Akers, we talked about earlier, 171 rushing, 2 for 23 in the air.
All right, who's their next matchup?
Cam Akers' next matchup is the Jets and then the Seahawks.
And then the Seahawks, and then Arizona.
Yeah.
Again, Arizona, if you play
That's
in week 17, we don't. And
if you play in week 17, you don't listen to the podcast.
Yeah, the reason not to play week 17 is that because there are a lot of teams that, it doesn't matter for them, and they'll sit their guys, so you don't get kind of a representative sample of the actual good players playing. That could happen in week 16, though. I'm worried about that because Kansas City has basically locked everything up. They still need to lock up their division, I believe.
True.
But I worry about Pat Mahomes sitting down week 16. But Pat, even when they're leading by a lot, he likes to be out there. They still leave him out there. I don't think they would
still like to
bench
throw
him.
the ball around, yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting. It's just worth noting. But Akers, I think you roll him out. I think you roll him out with confidence in all those matchups, good matchups. He seemed to be the guy. He did have a shoulder injury going into that week. Didn't look like it was hurt. He rammed in a couple
rushing
guys,
attempts.
and
They're fine.
so if he pops up questionable, I would still not be very worried about it.
I like the good call. Gesicki just torched Kansas City. How bad do you think his injury is? It didn't. He looked like he was in a lot of pain.
The report when we read it on our phones was like Mike Gesicki goes down and is like writhing in horrible pain.
Right.
Like, it wasn't that was word for word, but it was the way that they worded it made it sound like it looked bad. Shoulders are actually a little bit kind of like they're harder to damage.
Usually, you end up hearing it's like a clavicle or something.
Yeah,
later,
I don't think he broke a collarbone, but so yeah. Sometimes if just something pops out, you can pop it back in. It's all right, but monitor his reports. So I'm not 100% sure what Gesicki's going to be doing, but he's had a couple good games and then he disappears. Speaking of tight ends that disappear, Hayden Hurst with like one catch. I'm concerned about him.
So Tanyan, since I dropped him, 5 for 44 and a touchdown, 5 for 67 and a touchdown, 4 for 39 and a touchdown, 5 for 36 and a touchdown.
I need you to pick up Evan Ingram and drop him because Evan Ingram also another guy underperforming. And the Giants, just that whole game was awful. The Washington defense destroyed. Daniel Jones, is he going to be the guy out there next week? I don't know, man. He didn't look fit to play. I'm going to give him a little benefit of the doubt and say that it was injury, but he's a mobile quarterback. Doesn't look like it just at a glance, but when you actually watch the game,
he doesn't strike you as mobile.
I don't know, man. Sure. His picture always looks like a Gomer, and he like had that run where he just fell down with nobody around him.
Right.
So,
all right, Marcio's here.
He's actually pretty quick.
We can start the party now. Welcome in, Marcio.
So Hunter Henry again. He got hurt, but it sounds like he's back. So
hopefully, he played Noah Fant in that game.
Yeah.
I don't feel well. I'm going to sit out the rest of the game.
I feel faint. Font feels faint.
Interesting.
Too much? Not quite?
I just need some more fart targets.
Oh.
But yeah, Tanyan's been really good. Mike Davis, 51 yards rushing, but 2 touchdowns and
Real
5
strong
catches.
game from Mike Davis. So
yeah,
I actually
another good one.
When the one I was trying to tank, I threw him in there, and he almost won it for me. So I'm happy to have Mike Davis on a bench.
Nelson Aguilar, 50.5 to 21, 10, 8, 26. I mean, honestly, he's had some pretty
searching for a wide receiver.
Okay, numbers.
26 is a nice game, and that's against Indy, who's got a decent defense. So the Chargers are also Chargers and Miami are kind of similar. Then they both have defenses that aren't ranked great, but they're decent defenses. Yeah. They can be tough.
Nelson Aguilar, but yeah, 100 yards receiving. Dalvin Cook, not a monster day, but still a really good one. 102 yards rushing and a touchdown. KJ Hamler, garbage time points here.
Marcy, how's Green Bay good when Kirksey only gets 3 points in an IDP? What is this guy doing? Who's making tackles on that team? Come on.
Nobody.
That's devastating. Just devastating. Buda Baker with 5, like Keanu Neal with 6.5. My guy's just not showing up. Showing up in good matchups. Devastating.
Let's see.
Lamar, 50 points so far right now. No, 9.4. That's not going to do it, Lamar. We need a lot more than that.
Need more. All right, we'll have to check in Gesicki later.
Yep.
Wait, will I win? Have Andrews down by 15. In this game, I don't know. You need to start throwing quickly.
It's not impossible, but
you need to start throwing quickly. Marshall, get that out of here.
I'd be nervous.
MVS getting some points again. Another longer touchdown, 85 yards receiving on 6 catches. Kamara, 7 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown. But again, not the monster games you were hoping for from.
I just checked. Andrews so far no
Kamara.
points, so needs to get going. Need a little more than that. Here we go.
Did you cry when Lamar ran in that touchdown? He was pretty excited. But he needs about 8 more of them.
Keep it going. Everything you got. It's happening.
The
comeback is on.
helps.
Yeah, it didn't hurt. But I also, if you missed it when I was talking earlier, I have Lamar on another team going against. I need him to outperform the Ravens defense -4. So
this game pretty slow so far. Nick Chubb, 5 for 17 and a touchdown.
There he goes. There you go, Lamar. Run, Lamar.
Lamar Jackson, after that latest run, 5 for 41 and a touchdown. He's only completed 1 pass in the game. One pass to Gus Edwards for 4 yards.
The Gus bus catching the ball.
I don't know.
Dobbins is out there performing.
How do you feel as a Falcon or as a Ravens fan? This isn't fun offensive like football to watch?
They're still in the playoff hunt. They're 7-5. The last 2 games they dropped concern you a lot.
Okay, but from your team, do you want entertainment or success?
Success,
I want entertainment.
Success is entertaining. I like watching Lamar run around.
I don't know. I want to see the ball go in the air. Every time a quarterback lets the ball go, it's like, what's going to happen?
Where's he going?
When it's running, it's just the guy's running.
So you prefer more of a young Mitchell Trubisky?
Big Mama's handing out biscuits, baby.
Fantasy football 1012. My RB1 is Derrick Henry. I need an RB2 and a flex. My options are Montgomery, Kamara, and Aaron Jones.
Ooh, those are good options.
See,
Aaron
this
Jones
is
has good matchups.
Fantasy football backing you with those four team leagues.
Man, Montgomery and
RB2.
Jones both have good matchups. Kamara is just probably the most talented guy. It'll be interesting to see if
I'm
Drew
going
Brees
Jones.
comes back.
Aaron Jones.
Who's New Orleans have coming
No
up?
regrets.
He just lost a tough one to the Eagles. Man, it'd be interesting to see who you're going up against.
Saints play the Chiefs and the Vikings.
Okay, so against the Chiefs are actually pretty tough. So maybe I fade Kamara just because I think with Taysom Hill, if he's the guy, I just worry about him. You know, he's had a couple of those games where he disappeared a little bit. You got to go with Henry. Henry probably get all the points you need by himself.
I don't know. I just didn't search Packers.
Aaron Jones has been good, but like they haven't necessarily needed him in every game.
They don't need him.
If that makes
they're
sense.
just sending it.
So
Panthers,
I
what,
think
you
I'll
still
go.
here?
I'll go Montgomery. That's what I'll say. But
Man-
it could go either way with all those guys. They're close.
Manti, welcome to the subscriber side of things. Panther hitting you with that
Ooh.
fat sub.
Oh,
Packers
elite.
playing the Panthers and then the Titans.
Fancy.
I'm still starting Aaron Jones.
See you there. Here you go. Get Queen.
If Chubb gets literally nothing the rest of the game, I can still win by 0.66 points.
Ooh, don't like that.
You need the 1 yard rush and injury. That's the only thing that would save you there. Me in the beginning of the game, I hope Chubb gets 5 points. Literally scores a touchdown in the first 5 minutes. Yeah.
This is my nightmare.
Marcel lost my free league. It's unfortunate.
If you had to pick one to lose, though,
Yeah, Mike lost his money league.
I did. So I won't repeat as champion in that league. Nick was the first seed for a long time, then dropped down to the 3 just so he could come beat me right away.
Just in time. So what? I think you won one matchup this season and I won two.
So I'm rooting for my brother in that one. He was second place last year. I beat him in the championship.
You're not going to root for me?
No.
Your co-host?
No, you'd be insufferable.
What do
I
you mean?
can't have you just.
Insufferable. I'm so humble. I mean,
He's such a humble guy.
Willie Snead catching a
I
pass.
see you wearing those new blue earphones, just taunting me. Like,
Oh yeah, CCU
oh,
top
gonna
10.
use all my winning money. Put on these
Top 10.
blue earphones.
Top 10. We lost a follower. How did we lose a follower? Where'd they go?
I don't know. It's probably just like Nick won. I'm out. No, thank you.
Someone offered Jonathan Taylor
0
for
stars.
Antonio Gibson in Dynasty. Should I accept it? Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd rather have JT.
I think so. Also,
I think Antonio Gibson's going to be really good as well, but I'd rather have JT long term. See if they think that's fair, maybe they'll think throwing in a 3rd round pick is also
nah.
fair.
I think I just
No?
take it straight away.
If they offered it, I don't know. I might send it back with a 3rd. Don't cancel your first one, and then smash subscribe it.
I think I would have hit accept very quickly. But
Yeah,
and, Antonio, if he's if it's a PPR, it's a little more.
Marlon
passing
Mack
work.
coming back next year, though. I mean, no. Gus Edwards,
We'll see
11-yard
what happens with
touchdown
Marlon.
here.
This might have been Marlon
Not
Mack's
Dobbins.
last year on
It is
contract. Actually, just
It
a
is. I think
side
he's a
note.
free
So I don't
agent.
think they'll re-sign him.
I don't either. All right. So that's it for Boomers. I know. Gus Edwards. Who wants a Gus Edwards touchdown? Nobody. Right?
No, thank you.
You looking for a Gus Edwards touchdown from somewhere?
Not up in here.
No. Not interested. All right.
So no, I do kind of like Gus Edwards again, just to watch him. He runs hard. He's he's a good guy, but I think that just as far as for fantasy, he's one of those guys that only kind of seems to exist to like hurt the other guys and make my guys that I want to be good just to pull down their value and take away from them.
like Tony Pollard?
Similar in a certain way.
All right. So waivers. I mean, we'll talk over a few. I know we're late in the year now, but Lynn Bowden. You picking up Lynn Bowden off waivers?
Lynn Bowden.
This guy, this is not my kind of guy.
Nah. The reports that nobody likes him, getting traded away from the team that drafted him right away. I just don't want any part of Miami, really. Like, if Gaskin came back, that'd be the only guy that maybe I'm glancing at. But Gesicki's injured. Tua, he had a good game, but, like, it's just a mess.
I'm with you.
I think next
can
year
we-
Miami has some potential.
Can we now call Mandrews Boydrews? He's had such a bad fall off.
Still
It's
time
all-
in this game. He
it's
was on
all
the
Lamar's
COVID
fault.
list, so it wasn't like he just played and was bad last
It's
week.
all Lamar's fault. Did they take the touchdown away? They didn't. Oh well. Jalen Hurts picking up Jalen Hurts. Speculative ad maybe.
So I actually owned Jalen for a little bit in Dynasty and ended up dropping him. Another guy grabbed him. I think, yeah, especially in Dynasty, you're pretty psyched if you got Jalen and he's starting for the Eagles.
Thank you very much for the follow.
Artman Furniture.
Welcome in.
All right.
Artman
Appreciate it.
Furniture.
Art
welcome
targets,
in.
that's what we got. He probably
They gave it to Gus. That's what I'm saying. I bet on Dobbins to get that one and no dice. But I loved him in college and loved him on my team last year. He had a great season last year when Lamar could still throw the ball. And now he is forgotten.
just stopped. He stopped throwing touchdowns.
Just stop. Can't do it
It's
anymore.
not great.
Cam Akers, if he's still available, I'm picking him up immediately. Whoa.
Remix. That's what happens when you bootleg.
Blame Greg Norman.
Drop
Why am I blaming Greg Norman, the golfer?
Oh, Greg's all right.
T.Y. Hilton, I don't know if I'm picking him up in a redraft.
I
don't
think
think
if
I'm
he's
picking him
out
up
there
anymore.
and you need a wide receiver, you could take the chance, especially against Houston. Dynasty, if I could trade him, if your trades are open, I would be trying to get a second for him.
What about Chris Hansen here?
Okay, so that is Chad Hansen, the wide receiver for Houston. What do you have, 7 receptions?
I
I think he had a pretty decent day, and that's because there was no one else there that could play.
So back to back, 5 catches, 101 yards in this game, 7 catches, 56 yards.
Yeah, so 7 targets in both games. That's decent. Coming from a good quarterback on a team that generally needs to score and to pass.
Right.
I think you could take a shot on him for the rest of the year. You imagine that whole wide receiver core will look different next year. They'll probably draft somebody or get some free agents.
Right. See, there you go, Sohan. And then you just profit. They said they would take it with a third. That's why you ask.
Didn't hurt to ask.
That's why you ask. Unless you know they're not going to
Just been
unless
worried.
it's too good to oh my God, I have to take this immediately before they take it
That's
back.
kind of where I was
Those
at.
are the ones you take it back. I see a world where Gibson's the better running back long term, but
Washington,
I
man,
think it's unlikely.
You want pieces of the Washington? I don't know.
Not
I know
right
they're
now,
kind of doing
but-
all right. They're competitive. People
Did
like
you want
them.
pieces of the Browns 2 years ago?
I still don't want that many pieces of the Browns. Now,
You want
Chubb's
Chubb.
cool.
Yeah.
Chubb's a good guy.
Chubb's cool.
Yeah, we
Cool
like
dude.
Chubb.
Should I go Hurts or Tua in Superflex? Based on what I saw, I guess I'll go with Sohan in the recency bias and go with Hurts.
But if Hurts going against Dallas, we decided, right? I think that,
I believe so.
yeah, I like that matchup. Dallas allowed, if you watched them play against the Ravens, just everyone to run for as many yards
Cardinals
as they
next
could.
and then Dallas.
Okay, so the Cardinals defense has been meh. They're a little banged up.
They're going to run though.
All the guys that I played on, on their team.
Here's the thing. I like the way they used him in the game.
They actually had one monster guy go off in IDP that was on the waivers that I glanced at. I just want to see. Yeah, I'll look it up for you.
Let's see. Hello and welcome to any new followers or anyone new in the chat. Marcio, see, Panther Sweat gifted 3 subs earlier.
A solid ambassador. Thank you.
Yeah, a nice fella. Izuzi Avert got a sub. Manatee Handy's got a sub, and Cash Hammer, the
Cash
one and only
Hammer.
Cash Hammer.
If you need money now, call Cash here.
Russell Gage running out to pick
So
up
it
Russell
was
Gage.
Hassan Reddick against just beating up on the Giants, and he had 38 points in for IDP. And
That's a lot.
Could have used that. Could have used
Yeah.
that on my team. Chase Young's another guy
I
I,
don't
had
even know
on
if
my team for a
that would
while.
have done it.
Chase Young with 25 points at IDP. So Chase Young is a rookie rusher for Washington who showed up. He's been on a lot of the highlights if you've been watching like Good Morning Football, stuff like that. So Washington's defense is in a good spot. And really, especially if Alex Smith comes back and he's been okay.
He's been okay.
Gibson's pretty good. He had that one big game. I don't know, man. It's tough. Washington's just another one of those teams that I'm concerned. Speaking of Washington, a guy that didn't have a great game was Terry. Scary Terry.
I know.
Terry
2 for
McLaurin.
24, I think.
Not great.
So I needed Terry badly at the time,
Uh-huh.
and he just wasn't doing it. They still target him. It was just a weird game. Honestly, the 49ers defense, excuse me,
The Giants.
or what? No, the 49ers.
So it was Washington
49ers.
versus the Giants.
No.
Washington Redskins, New York Giants.
Are you sure about that?
Check it out. I'm pretty sure because I think that Chase Young sacked Danny Dimes 100 times. Or do I have it wrong? I could be wrong.
I think you're wrong.
Well, who beat up on the Giants? What year is it?
San Fran just played Washington. Yeah, I was right.
Oh, pardon me.
You're crazy.
So it was crushing. the
Washington
Giants.
scored 2 defensive touchdowns, and they didn't need to score any more points. The 49ers just shot themselves in the foot the whole game, and Terry wasn't needed, which is Unfortunate for me, but again, he still got targeted. Just couldn't help you.
Okay, so I just was looking at the two guys I was looking at in IDP. Arizona was against New York.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm crazy. You're crazy.
You're crazy. Don't call me crazy. Don't threaten me with a good time.
I believe Citrus Samuel will break out next year.
Just so that everybody forgets it. AJ Green, right?
AJ Green. This is like Biggie Smalls. You can't say
I would
that.
like to begin today by apologizing on behalf of you to me. And that apology is not accepted.
It wasn't done.
I love that I broke it into two.
Yeah.
So as soon as Nick starts talking.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, back to real life.
So Citrus Samuel breakout next year, according to Sohan. I think there's a chance of that. I just don't think it's with the Panthers. I think it's with Houston. It's with Green Bay. It's with somebody else. I agree. In keeper leagues, I'm probably throwing him on the bench if he's available.
So, Dub, my take on IDP leagues. I like doing it. Again, it helps me kind of be aware of the defensive players, which can help you if you play in non-IDP just because you know that there are certain teams you're more familiar with their safeties, their cornerbacks. But it's hard to find good IDP information. There are a couple sites where if you pay, you can get people's rankings that are a little more on the ball, but like the Yahoo rankings are awful. The ESPN rankings are very bad. They just had Kirksey at like 13. He got me 3 points. Like,
it's one of those things you have to, no matter what. It's not like if you have, Kamara in your roster, you put Kamara in your roster every week.
Yeah.
And IDP, depending on matchup, depending on injury, is like if Akeem Hicks is out, you don't want to start Khalil Mack in certain situations. There's so many ancillary things you have to look at,
and there's just a lot less shows talking about it.
For sure. But there's a little bit of luck aspect. But the more you stay on it, the better you'll do it. It's just like.
And that's one of the things for this podcast I'd like to do is if I can really kind of start diving into IDP and make myself better at knowing everything, hopefully we could bring that kind of info to people if they were interested. But
Marcio said if we start doing the AJ Green Beetlejuice, he'll appear like Beetlejuice, and Marcio will be drunk from.
I don't know if I want AJ Green to appear.
AJ Green's the man.
I don't know. I've been trashing him all year.
Probably slip on the floor and hurt his leg.
I like him more than Josh Jacobs right now.
Manatee said they told Terry to take a week off.
Okay,
they got a bye week.
How about next week? What'd you tell him to do next week?
Yeah, tell him we need him. We need him
strap up and get in there because we could use some. Our league where we've been dominating and also had the first round bye. We got a couple little shaky spots that we need to hammer out.
Yeah, it doesn't look as good as.
So let's talk about one spot that was a little shaky. Will Lutt's not having a good game, and I know a lot of people have Will Lutz. We're starting him as their kicker. Another guy that I pivoted to was let's see. It's D. Hopkins.
You do that.
So D. Hopkins, not DeAndre. He's a kicker, and I kept seeing him. I'm like, wait, DeAndre? No, I don't have DeAndre. Like what? Oh, it's. I think it's Dustin. Right. So Dustin Hopkins.
Marcio says I look up AJ Green stuff on Pristine Auction in my free time and use code footballers
because I'm hammered from watching the show and talking.
You're
about
not wrong. All right, Nick Chubb up the middle for a 14-yard touchdown.
They're not a sponsor yet. Once they sponsor us, we'll be happy to just plug.
If you want to sponsor us, let us know. Chubb touchdown. So I know Chubb's good. I want Hunt to do well because he's on my team, and I would like more beneficial roster pieces. But I also don't want to have to worry about starting him.
Let me speak to you about my new kicker crush, Dustin Hopkins. So Dustin Hopkins, a kicker for the Washington football team. If you go in there again, the Yahoo app, because of how people kind of look at that, especially if you're a newer player, just not as paying attention, you kind of look at the top 5 or 6 guys, and then you cycle like. He's lower down on the list there. In his last games, he's got 10, 10, 10, 11, 14, 13. So putting up over 10 or more points in the past
I tell
6 games.
I tell you in the chat every week. I go purely off of the Reddit rankings, and they're so good.
Then coming up, he's got Seattle, who's the 14th most points to kickers, and then Carolina, the 7th most. So I might ride with Hopkins, and I'd be curious to see in your Reddit list where he's at. But we do need to talk about changing if we want to pivot off of Will Lutz or just ride with the Lutz.
I think we probably leave Lutz in there for now. Against Kansas City, where they're going to need to score a lot.
I don't know. People always, that's the other thing. Kansas City, people are like, oh, you can, like, you'd think that the wide receivers are good against them because the team's got to throw. They got to keep up, but they just don't. And they haven't given up a ton of points to wide receiver.
NIU just coming in to let us know that Dustin Hopkins is the FSU star. Dustin Hopkins.
Gotcha. All right. So
always that knowledge. Just dropping knowledge.
The obscure kicker info. That's why NIKU's here.
All right, so I promised some 2021 preview stuff. I want to go over some running backs and where.
It's not time. I got to win 2020.
I know, but I just want to.
Turn this year around.
I just want to mention it. Just get the conversation started.
So hopefully
this
we
time
make
of year,
it to
weather
that
and
year.
stadiums play a big factor for kicking. That's a good point. So many kicks missed yesterday. So many kicks
All by
missed.
Dan Bailey. So sorry,
Yeah,
Vikings. Really, in a way, you don't want to say you lost them the game, but
What about Castillo for the Jets missing 4 or 5 kicks himself?
the Jets again. They told him to miss. The Jets.
Castillo's been the lone bright spot. That's how they don't get goosed every game.
So speaking of Castillo and the Jets,
That team sure did suck last night. They just plain sucked. I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
Lots of sucks.
so I'm sure just a small story. My older daughter, she's 4. She said something like "you suck" the other night, and my wife caught her and like kind of gave her a little stern talking to, like, "Hey, we don't say that." And she asked her where she saw it or where she heard it, and so I'm like going through my head. I'm like,
Oh, please,
hope it
not
wasn't
me.
me. Hope it was. It could have been much worse, but I
Right.
don't think it was me. And then like she said like she got like a tablet where she watches YouTube videos and something like that. So I
Right.
was like, I hope she wasn't watching my show. And then we were talking about the Jets. But yeah,
Avoided that
so,
situation.
Again, it happens.
All right, so I want to get just right off the jump. Give me your top 5 running backs for 2021.
2021.
That you're looking in the draft, first round. Honestly, the first 5 picks might be running backs.
All right, so I'm probably
how are you
back on the
ordering?
Christian McCaffrey train if he's getting health reports and everything looks good. Especially if he comes back and blows up at the end of the year. I still think he's going to go very highly in drafts. For a while there, I was on the Zeke train, but nope, no more. Not again. Not going to do it. Derrick Henry, I feel like he's done pretty good this year. Dalvin Cook, that team still will want to run. I think he's locked up on a contract. He's going to be in the mix for the top guys. It'd be interesting to see how Austin Eckler finishes here. I think he is like just under the limit in our keeper league where I could pay up and get him again.
Okay.
But he's probably not going to go top 5. Chubb's going to be in the conversation, especially when we're in a half PPR. But Hunt still being there lowers Chubb a little bit.
Yeah, it hinders his ceiling just a little bit. Saquon,
people will be back on. I'm out. I'm never again Saquon. I didn't even like him this year. I
Never
didn't want to
again.
take him. I had the second pick, and everything everywhere was like, you got to take Saquon. Everybody's taking Saquon with the number 2. Again, if he didn't get hurt, maybe it would have been great. Maybe I would have become a believer.
You're not going anything crazy like
But
Miles Sanders,
no,
CEH.
if I have the second pick and everybody's saying take Saquon, I'm not taking Saquon with the second pick.
All right, is there any chance that you're taking Swift, CEH, Chris Carson, JT, Gibson, any of those guys?
Well, I'm sure there'll be some rookie that comes out, gets a good spot, and he'll have hype, and
Right.
he'll be in the top. But like CEH, I'm definitely not going for. Jonathan Taylor of the rookies, him and Dobbins, those are guys that I might be glancing at. But if Gus Edwards is still around, man, Gus Edwards is going to get touches. A guy that I like that I might have in a lot of spots that just because I think I'll be higher on him than the consensus is I like Ronald Jones, man. I think that if Leonard's out,
if you listen next year, you get to listen to a
he's
whole
won.
another
I think he's
season
won
of Ronald
Orient.
Jones
I think he's
hype.
won Arians over. He's looked pretty good when he's running it. So
Yeah,
he's a guy that I'll be in the running for.
If I'm redrafting, I'm probably taking.
Oh, we got a boo Rojo. Why I hate the Rojo?
Rojo's the worst.
You've been happy with him if you got him this year because you probably took him in like the 8th
No,
round.
Rojo's the worst.
Oh, again, if you got any Rojo owners, they're just psyched.
He's the worst.
But he keeps having like these situations where it's like, all right, he had a good game, like it worked for me, I can use him, it's happening, and it's like broken pinky.
Yeah.
He's always a broken pinky for Rojo. Something
he's the
like,
worst.
Oh, had a fumble, got benched, had a broken pinky. They signed Leonard Fournette. Like it's always about to happen, and
Right.
but he's been very usable. He's in the upper ranks of running backs this year. Had good health except for this pinky.
Hey, don't start flaming with Joe Mixon now.
Have you met Joe? Oh, Broken Joe Mixon.
Broken Joe Mixon. All right, this is how I'm ordering. I'm going to go Derrick Henry, CMC, Cook.
How far is Zeke? Top 8?
I'm probably going.
Ready to get hurt again?
I'm
if
probably
Dak's
going
back?
Zeke at 5. I love Mixon.
It's weird.
I'm probably going. Who am I going 4th? I guess I don't even want to go Kamara. I'm not going to Kamara fourth. I'm going JT fourth.
Depending on the situation, Kamara is a guy I might take a chance on next year. He's still, he's been very good when he's gotten the opportunities. It's just his opportunities dipped when Taysom Hill came in. He stayed healthy. That's a concern I had with him. He had a couple kind of red flags at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I think you're going to get some value this year in running backs just because I feel like
people got hurt.
Well, maybe it's worse, but where there was like 3 really good running backs, now I feel like there's almost 4 or 5 guys in that elite category now. Maybe it's the top guys coming down to the field or the field guys making it up. But I feel, do you feel better or worse if you have any one of Kamara, Cook, Saquon, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones? I mean, of those guys, do you care which one you have? As long as you have 1 or 2 of them?
Well, as we learned this year, it's like because guys get hurt. Like that's a big thing. Is like if you can just luck out and pick the one that's healthy, you're in a great spot. Like a lot of the guys that have been hurt this year, like it went very high. So like Saquon, you took him, you got hurt. If you took, yeah,
but you have injury risk with any pick. So I mean, I think you can say it if you are trying to avoid somebody with a lot of injury history, but I don't know if you can, completely discount everyone. I mean, they all have injury concerns. Kamara's missed games. Dalvin Cook's missed games.
I know nothing.
I think you have to draft almost like they're going to be healthy the whole year. Or are you going to count it against CMC that he missed most of this year?
I'll count it against him a little bit, but he's good enough that like it wouldn't bring it down enough. So like I'm trying to think of a guy that was hurt this year, like Saquon. I would personally move down. Like he's had multiple years with pretty catastrophic injuries. I'm trying to think of other guys.
But he's also come back from more serious injuries quicker. He
maybe too quick. I don't
last year he was supposed to be out and ended up coming back. I don't know. Mike going to get Swifty in the top 10. I don't know if I'm taking any Lions.
A lot can change. It'll be interesting to see what happens with their coaching staff. Coaching staff is important to running backs and things like that. If you have a team like, let's say like Tennessee or the Vikings, if those running backs went to other teams, like if they went to, let's say, the Falcons, the scheme is completely different.
Right.
Likely the Falcons wouldn't take guys like that because they wouldn't prioritize them as much because their offense works differently.
Eckler missed a lot of games this year too. I think that's a fair point.
That's true. So if he finishes the end of the season healthy, and again, some of those that are like they returned that same season, it wasn't like they blew out a tendon or something like that. If they had like a sprain, which is kind of like a tear, but it's not. It didn't need to be surgically repaired. That's different.
Sohan says they can do either Gibson for Taylor in a third or Gibson for Swift in a third. You like Swift or Taylor in Dynasty long term?
I think I like Taylor.
I think I like Taylor too.
The Colts have a good line. They want to run the ball.
I don't trust the Lions.
The Lions are bad. Who knows what their coaching situation is going to be?
I have them both in Dynasty and as well as you. And I'm more excited for JT's future.
The pro for Swift is that, so with Taylor, Nyami Hines is going to be around still probably, whereas with Swift, Adrian Peterson will likely be gone. Kerryon Johnson, I believe, is a free agent at the end of this year, so he could be kind of the only show in town there. He was probably ranked by most people as the most talented running back coming out of the draft who just went to a poor situation, so he fell in the rookie drafts. But Akers is an interesting choice, too. Henderson's going to be around. He's still on his rookie contract there. Malcolm Brown.
I'm almost thinking
they'll phase Malcolm Brown out.
But that's what I'm saying. We're getting a nice pool of running backs from the rookies.
It was Gibson, a good rookie class.
We're getting James Robinson potentially. We're getting Aaron Jones at a different spot potentially. We got JT, CEH. I mean, there's more options as we go into next season. And guys, I'm actually excited about. Matt's Rock, what's going on, man? How are you? So I'll go Derrick Henry just for what you said. Lack of injury concern is a huge thing for me. Derrick Henry has been pretty solid. Really not a whole lot of concern there. Some dings here.
All right, Matt. So I'll tell you what's up. I need 70 points from Lamar. He's got 13 right now. We're on our way. We're on our way.
Chris Carson also injured. But that's what I'm saying. Eckler, Saquon, Kamara, Zeke doesn't have injury concerns really. Chris Carson injury concerns. It's almost unavoidable.
So
Dalvin Cook.
to update the people, though, the other league that I'm playing in, I am now up by 6 on my opponent, where I need Lamar to have just better than the defense, basically.
All right, actually, I want to do a little test here. I want you to tell me
All right.
at what point I give you a name that you'd rather have the number one. You could rather have what? DK Metcalf? Who's the number one wide receiver in your book going into next season?
I like Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams. Okay, Devontae Adams or Kelsey or a running back that I give you.
I like Kelsey.
Right. All right. Let's see how many running backs we get through. Alvin Kamara,
Yeah, I think probably.
Dalvin Cook,
Probably Dalvin.
Derrick Henry,
Yeah, Derek.
Aaron Jones. Say he's with the Packers.
Okay, if Aaron Jones is back with the Packers, yeah, it's just, cheese. Yeah,
Devontae Adams is also cheese.
Probably Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has been good, but again, he still hasn't just been having monster games.
Right. Christian McCaffrey,
Christian McCaffrey will take above all those guys. And
Saquon.
Saquon, no.
Okay. Jonathan Taylor,
Jonathan Taylor, probably not.
CEH,
CH, no.
Antonio Gibson,
Antonio Gibson, no.
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, man, I'll forgive him. It'll be long enough that I'll have forgotten about the sting of his trolling me. But
Zeke.
Josh Jacobs just gets a lot of volume. He doesn't catch a ton of balls. The Raiders, I think they're kind of on the up. But I might take Kelsey over Jacobs.
Zeke,
No, I'm taking all those guys over
Chubb?
over Zeke. Chubb, I'll take him over Chubb.
Rojo,
Ronald Jones, yeah, I think that you'll definitely be able to get Rojo later, so
Right.
yeah, because of that reason.
Carson, Melvin Gordon, Miles Sanders.
Carson could be a guy that could be in a totally different situation this year. So Chris Carson was a guy I looked at in some trades in Dynasty, and he could be nobody next year.
Very well could be nobody. And I can't really think of any.
So there's Susie
about
Vert.
6.
I am a sub now. Aye.
Yeah, Panther Sweat giving you that sub. basically
Congratulations.
right out of the jump.
You did it. You did it. Hold
Welcome
on.
in.
Here we go.
A great success.
Yay.
Yeah, so all those subs out there,
Yeah, I'm gonna get one for show. For show.
you get a sub. You
getting
get
that
a
for
sub.
show.
DeAndre Swift.
So enjoy the no commercials. DeAndre Swift, again, I think he's a guy that you might be able to snag a little bit later that I'll probably be going after. I like his talent. He had a concussion, though. You know how
So
you
we're
just
talking
think
6.
if a guy gets a concussion,
So-
they're gone forever.
According to your rankings, potentially 5 or 6 running backs you would rather have before a wide receiver. It's a long stretch. And honestly, there's not besides Adams, DK, Hopkins, maybe.
If I'm staring it down, I might go just DeAndre. or Devontae Adams right away.
Right. I understand that point, but
after him, though, another wide receiver, let's say he goes with the 2 or 3 pick and I've got choices. I'm not taking Hopkins over him. I'm not probably taking DK over him. I like DK. He's had a really good year.
right.
I'm looking at DK more in that 6 range. Like if I've got a mid-range pick.
I don't think but here's the thing. At that pick, you can still get Zeke. You want Zeke or DK?
No, I want DK over Zeke.
Really?
Oh, 100%. I'm off the Zeke train. Zeke
Well,
doesn't look good. Tony Pollard's going to
that's why you're
overtake him
gonna
next
lose next year.
Nah, Zeke's, he's
CD
done.
Lamb breakout next year.
He looks bad. If you watch him
DK's
run,
out there.
like I get that his line's not good, but Pollard's out there looking okay, and then Zeke goes out there. I don't know if he's not trying because he knows that they're not playing for anything.
Yeah.
Wouldn't shock me out of Zeke. He could then all of a sudden
the
they're
offensive
competing
line
and
is
he turns it
garbage.
on.
Again, Pollard's getting in a few times a game. It's got fresh legs. We'll chalk it up to that. But the offensive line is just destroyed for them.
So we got a question about CD Lamb. So I took CD Lamb in a dynasty draft, so I'll talk about this. CD kind of broke out this year a little bit. Again, I think that he was highly touted. People had him as either the 1 or 2 top wide receiver. He goes to the Cowboys. People are a little hesitant because there are other guys there that you're worried about taking targets. I think he's already kind of surpassed Gallup. Gallup's still there. He's a talented guy.
For sure.
Yeah, especially if Dak is back, CD Lamb, the sky's the limit for him and those other guys if they're still around. But
no QB in Dallas next year. They're going to have to pay Dak. They're not going to have a choice.
Right.
If they don't,
someone will.
I'll write a strongly worded letter to the Bears if they don't sign him.
Dak was just phenomenal when he was playing. Like it's been long enough now that people are starting to forget. But like, you go back, I looked up I went to and just looked at like total points for the year, and Dak's still in like
he's still pretty
way
high
up there. Yeah,
he was. Yeah,
after missing a
he was
good
a
chunk
monster
of the season.
starting out. That was the biggest. That was probably the biggest
Pocket
injury.
says that
for
Dak won't be
fantasy.
ready for next year, even if he misses the first 2 or 3 games. Dak's a guy that
I'm still picking him up. Yeah.
Yeah.
New Dallas peaked in 16. maybe.
Maybe 19.
But isn't Dak kind of what you were hoping Trubisky would be. Pretty mobile, a pretty accurate passer, and just strong in the pocket. And
I don't know what I was
Trubisky
hoping. I just hope Mitch would be like that one season when he played pretty well. Like if he could have just been that consistently, that would have been fine. Or if he could have just been a pretty consistently good quarterback, but then
he was consistently good for 2 games against Tampa Bay.
His problem is consistency because again, he can show up once in a while and have a good game. He's got physical talent, but then to just completely just stay in that mode and be good consistently.
Can we have a day without Trubisky depression? No, because this is the world we live in. NIU. I had Dak and Murray in Superflex. I started Hurts this week, was dominating, then all downhill. Yeah.
Somebody say Mitch Trubisky.
Big Mama's handing out biscuits,
Had a good week.
I don't think it's crazy, though, that in the first 15 picks in standard redraft that you have only 2 wide receivers and 1 tight end taken, and you have 12 running backs.
So, again, back to the CD question. So, if Dak comes back and let's say Amari Cooper's not there, and it's Gallup and CD, how high does he go? What round is he going in? Like the top 3 rounds?
For Dak or Lamb?
For Lamb.
For Lamb? No.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay. But if that's the situation and he's in the 4th round, I'm snagging CD.
But I just want to know, with wide receivers, the more I looked at it, so in our Dynasty League, we have to start 3 wide receivers, 2 flex, and then the rest is all standard. So we have to start an extra, couple roster spots, usually wide receivers. I'm looking around, I need to improve. But my wide receivers are just as good as their wide receivers. It's nobody knows with wide receivers. We know Devontae Adams.
Not a hot take. I know about wide receivers.
Okay, Devontae Adams is the clear-cut 1A, 1B with DK.
Likely.
You have DK up there. You have DeAndre Hopkins and probably Tyreek. Those are your probably top 4, I would say right now.
Diggs is going to make a push for being in the top there. He's had a good end.
I'm not talking about this year. I mean, how we view
how we'll view him next year.
Forward.
I think Diggs will.
I don't know. Maybe
be going high.
Maybe.
Yeah, depending on Tampa Bay, if it's still Tom.
I mean, Devontae is only 20 points behind the first place spot, and he missed.
Keenan Allen will be up there in the top
weeks.
Conversation with Herbert being there.
He's not, though. He won't be.
I'm going to take Hopkins.
Where will Cam be next year?
Keenan Allen. I'm going to take Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I don't think Cam's starting next year.
No, he was on a 1-year contract for the Patriots. I can't see them re-signing him. Things just haven't gone their way. He's obviously not kind of going to lead them to a Super Bowl.
But if you had to bet money, which one of these has a better year next year? A.J. Brown, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, or Keenan Allen? You can't tell me.
I'm gonna bet on Keenan, but it could go either. It could go for any of them.
But that's what I mean. I'd rather take the running backs early this coming year and Kelsey early that are going to be more known quantities. And I mean, if you get Mike Evans in the 3rd or 4th round next year, are you going to feel bad about it? Are you going to feel bad if you can get CeeDee Lamb in the 3rd or 4th? Would you rather
be happy about it?
Would you rather have CeeDee Lamb or Terry McLaurin next year? Terry is probably going to go in the 2nd or 3rd round, and
depending
CeeDee's
on
go
quarterback,
in the 4th or 5th.
because both those guys, their quarterback could be in flux. But if I think they have a good quarterback, I like both those guys' talent.
I just think there's people even deep down this list that I'm still.
I love this question.
Starting.
Who do you take first next year, Ridley or Julio? Part of the reason I liked Ridley is because he was going well behind Julio this year.
Yeah,
I was hesitant, but I had kind of hinted at he might overtake Julio. He might have a better year than Julio.
I don't think I'm going to get either of them.
Again, I predicted him to be very much like Godwin last year with Mike Evans. Ridley, I'll probably reach for and get and be disappointed. But again, part of why I liked him is because you could get him lower. And it's about finding those values. So maybe there's a guy that I like as a player, watching
Andrew's
him.
Big gain.
But if they're going too high for you and they're going at their
39
peak price,
yards for
that's what you got to think
Andrews.
about. Where's he at? What you said? 1 reception for 39?
Yeah.
All right. If you had Andrews, you need that 15 points. We're still rooting for you.
Donovan Peoples had a long 37-yard catch
Donovan
as
Peoples-Jones, a rookie that we've kind of talked about a little bit. Keep an eye on Donovan. If OBJ, I don't know if he's going to be around next year, what that situation is going to look like in Cleveland. But
I don't think he's going to be playing for the Browns anymore. That's my call now. I don't know. I just think the wide receiver landscape from after the top 3, 4, 5 guys, the next section is 20 people long. I'm not that worried.
All right. Andrews, a nice stiff arm on that one. He's looking good.
Lamar rushing touchdown, 17-yard Lamar touchdown.
Oh, it's happening. It is happening. Everything you got.
Cortland Sutton value next year if healthy. If Drew Lock is the quarterback, I'm out. If Matthew Stafford's quarterback, I'll take him early.
Yeah, Judy's kind of the same deal. So Judy's a guy that I like. He had a lot of hype going into the draft. He runs good routes. He hasn't really had a big year. Their division is tough. Their schedule this year was very tough. I think he could break out more next year and have better stats. Right. He's a guy I would consider trading for, but the knock is that his rookie contract is going to be with the Denver Broncos, who right now, as things sit, are more a defense grinded out team, not a high flying. And their quarterback play is suspect. He had a good statistical game, but it didn't look great. I don't know.
Bear fan Paul, nary a mention of Saints Michael Thomas.
I had one quick mention earlier, but we mentioned that he had a good day.
There's a chance he might not be on the team next year.
But we were talking about, he's saying when we were talking about the top wide receivers and guys you're drafting high, yeah, no, I'm out. I don't know if Breeze is going to be back. I would be surprised if he comes back and plays another year.
He's off my board.
Yeah, no.
Is Patty still a first-round pick? I mean, I would never, but some will. So we talked about this. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. We're in a small vortex where if you have an elite quarterback, you're winning. Like, you're winning because of the elite quarterback. And not streaming quarterback, but having one of Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, or I guess Herbert for a little while, Josh Allen for a little while. If you didn't have one of the elite top 3-4 Russ, those guys, you weren't going to win. That's not how it is year to year, and we haven't seen a stretch like we're in right now since like 8 years ago.
Well, there's also the start of the season where some guys were just putting up huge points. Like Russ was putting up big points. Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen was putting up giant points. Dak was putting up huge points, and all of them kind of cooled off. Again, teams get tape. They start to scheme a little bit better. They kind of see what you're doing. So defenses generally come on a little bit later in the year. Also, a lot of times you get players that'll go down, so offenses lose pieces, and that slows them down.
We both listen to the footballers, and they talk about when they stream a quarterback, all they're looking for is 250 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. That's kind of like their goal of a successful streaming quarterback. If you have a quarterback that does that, you might lose your league just because of that. Because if Mahomes is putting up 40 points on you, 400 yards passing and a few touchdowns, you lose. So I don't know. I'm still not of the theory of taking a quarterback early, but it's been working out.
No, and again, I think that guys that you possibly could have gotten just off waivers this year include maybe Aaron Rodgers. There were leagues where he kind of went on, undrafted or drafted very low. There were Tannehill was a guy that people didn't draft.
Ernig 15 with a follow. Thank you very much. Welcome in.
All right, happy to have you. Yeah, jump in the chat. Tell us how many championships you're going to win this year.
All of them.
Denzel
Mims breakout next year. I'm excited to see Denzel Mims just the rest of this year if he can come back. Maybe not next week because I'm supposed to face him, but if he can set out maybe next week and then.
So Mims, if you don't know, a highly touted rookie on the Jets. And here's the thing about Mims: his coach could be completely different next year. His quarterback could be different. A lot of things could be different, but as far as his talent, especially if they get Trevor Lawrence and a new coach who's offensive minded,
right?
I'm all about Mims. I think he could be a sleeper, kind of a steal.
They just stop using him in the games this year. I think it's like, okay, play real football in the second half, and then the first half, and the second half we're going to try and lose. So stop playing football.
So Bam saying that CMC might drop because he's been injury prone. Again, he was out this year, but part of it was I think that. If his team was competing, he would have been back a couple weeks ago, and he would have been grinding it out and fighting through it.
Right. Here's the thing: if you're not taking Derrick Henry number 1, you should be taking Dalvin Cook.
That makes sense. Dalvin has had injuries in the past. We'll see if he makes it through the rest of the year without injury, but I always have an injury concern with him, so that's one of my things. But he's been very good as far as, and he's been pretty healthy.
Right. Ernig,
Christian's injuries are not things that should last into next year. So it's not like an ACL. It's not like an Achilles. It's not a lingering thing. He had a high ankle sprain that usually lingers throughout a season, but is generally goes away through the off season.
Ernig, love the Falcons helmet. Just locked up the first round of the playoffs with Nick Chubb tonight. Nick Chubb, not a ton of yardage, but getting you the points, getting you the touchdowns.
The Falcons helmet signed by Young Ho Koo. Where's the Minshew mania? We could do stashes.
I don't know if I can.
If Gardner Minshew makes the Super Bowl at any given point in his career, I'll do a mustache.
If the Bears sign Minshew, I'll break out a stash.
We can do
Oh, Sohan getting spicy. This isn't the chat to get spicy in here with Jason Sanders over Koo. Ooh.
We are Koo fans here.
We are Koo fans.
We also don't have
no
a Jason,
get out, says Marcio.
Don't have a Jason Sanders drop, but
no.
Man, again.
But yeah, Mims for next year with what's quarterback coming in? T-Law? Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Minshew to Chicago. It could happen. I don't want it to happen. I think I've convinced Mike now that it should be Winston. But we'll
I don't
see.
know. It'd be a disaster. I don't know. It's bad. It's not a good situation.
Wife got me a Matt Ryan signed football for the B-Day.
Oh, congratulations.
Spicy.
How many points did he have? 7.5 in his last game? Probably got it on sale with that last game, but hey, there'll be brighter days. He just needs Julio back. Calvin Ridley, though, getting points, so happy about that.
You better not. He can't wear his jorts.
So what
there.
pick do I see Saquon going? Saquon I could see going with the second pick in the draft, but I am not taking him there.
I'd be excited to take Saquon at like the 6, 7, 8 spot, though.
I don't want it. I don't want it. And I know Saquon it's just going to fall where it's like I have to take him.
But Saquon or Chubb or JT.
Saquon coming off a big injury. The Giants aren't good. People keep being like, the Giants are good. They're competing for the division. Their division's terrible. The Giants they're bad. They're bad at football.
So?
It makes a difference.
I mean, David Montgomery's team is bad at football, and he still wants to start him.
Fair.
Paris Campbell breakout. I think until the Colts find a quarterback.
So I was all in on Paris Campbell breakout this year. I thought he was going to be the guy. I thought he was going to overtake T.Y. because I thought saw kind of the writing on the wall for T.Y. a little bit. And then he went down 2 years in a row with injury, and he's injury prone, and I'm out. So no more for Paris. Maybe if he goes late in the draft, I'll grab him.
I'd actually
redraft.
rather start him if Jacoby Brissett was playing.
But I'm out for dynasty. I'm more on the Michael Pittman train. He's had
Pittman's
one kind of a little bit of a breakout game. The last couple games he's had decent targets, but kind of mediocre points. But
Ryan has not had an RB or O-line since Michael Turner. It's been a while. I remember starting Steven Jackson there for a while, though. Those were good times. Good times. Well, I mean, and honestly,
remember that fondly, do you?
Honestly, Freeman came out of nowhere, too. I had my buddy in redraft, hey, pick up Freeman. I think next year, the year after, he's going to be good. I'm like, come on.
Turtles.
Nobody was talking about him, and sure enough, came in fantasy relevant for a long time. Do you guys think Allen Robinson will take the money and go to a crappy team or go to a contender? Honestly,
I see the Bears overpaying him and he comes back.
He's not going to go to the Bears.
You don't think so?
I think 1A landing spot right now is Houston.
Yeah, it's a good spot for any wide receiver.
It just makes sense. Allen Robinson in Houston.
Again, he could be spiteful against the Bears. Go to Green Bay. Probably do phenomenal over there.
Green Bay won't pay him.
Yeah, I don't know how much he's going to get paid. I don't know. He's been good, but
he'll get paid a lot. He's still not very old. That's the thing. All right, we're at halftime in the game. Is there anything, last second questions, anything you'd like to ask us before we head off for the evening?
I forgot to hit this when we were talking about Jerry Jeudy.
This is Judge Judy.
There's a reason you should hit that.
I know you were waiting for
terrible.
it. I know you were waiting for it.
It is terrible. Oh, man. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Freeman had a great career, then kept trying to lower his head, being 5'0". Great year. Gotcha. Yeah, I liked starting Freeman back in the day. Marcio hitting us with that Discord invite.
All right, yeah, jump in the Discord. We did get a couple more in the Discord, so I saw you in there. Tried to get back at you.
Is that link even live? I'll post another one just to make sure.
It's just like six or seven just gifs of me like talking about how I need Lamar to have 70 points and praying to different,
just goofing.
Yeah,
just goofing.
Just goofing. Let's see.
My link no worky though. Yeah, I didn't think it would.
I'm just goofing. New boot goofing.
I feel like I could make my voice sound like that if I really wanted to. I'm not sure that's not me.
We have to drop.
I feel like that's me. I don't know. Could be wrong. But everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. I was victorious in this week's matchup versus Mike to move on in the playoffs.
And you also won in our Dynasty League, kind of come from behind. So I'm hoping I can beat out Doug this week.
I don't know if anybody was in here when we started talking about it earlier, but I needed like 15 points from Diggs to take the dub. And Diggs, I might have to buy a jersey because he's the man. But JT's 62-yard touchdown really got me completely back in the ball game. That was the turning point.
So we did get, who is the QB pickup for next week? Probably Hurts. Jalen Hurts. He's got some good matchups coming up. He looked good. He rushed a lot. So
especially if your league gives bonus points for going over 100 yards rushing, because if he can do that again, that's almost like a free touchdown.
Pocket asks, who will be the starting tight end for the Bengals next year? CJ Uzama. No. Man, I loved Uzama. I talked about him all the time. He would have had a good year. The breakout was happening. He went down with an Achilles. Those are just historically tough to come back from. So
Bambo wants an explanation from you. How does Mike Singh Saquon doing poorly, but Wayne Gallman looking decent? Like, can you explain that?
So again, Saquon, part of the concern is he could easily get injured again.
Right.
Second concern, Gallman, if you like, how good do you feel Gallman's doing though? He's getting like 10 to 15 points a game. He's been usable because all the running backs are hurt and nobody's kind of blowing up.
If you guys want sleepers for next year, Gabriel Davis. Just pick up Gabriel Davis.
That's a lot of time that he's been sitting around trying to rehab. He's had multiple injuries. He's not going to be as explosive or as fast as he was before. So Saquon, come out, man.
So good. Deion Lewis gets his touchdown.
There you go. Yeah.
Marcio Hurts over Watson. I'm not ready to put my name on that one yet. I'm certain.
Watson's got tough matchups. How many points? He just had a decent. He
had like 20 points.
It wasn't.
Against a bad
he didn't
matchup.
crush you.
And he played. He had did you see the tight end try and catch the ball in the end zone for Watson? It was right at his hands.
Was it Akins?
And it literally just went off his fingertips. He tried to catch it.
I did not see that.
Oh, God. It was
devastating.
awful. It was awful. So that would have been another.
But yeah, I think that. No, the other thing is quick history. In our dynasty 2 years ago, when I won the championship, I played against Nick. I think both teams, we had the highest point total by, like yours was the highest of the year, and then mine was the only higher one.
For sure.
We're hoping to peak at the same time.
It was a great. So normally in our league we usually get 130 to 140 points, and I think you beat me 188 to 180 or 178.
I thought it was up like a 190, but
it was a lot. It was a great matchup. I was getting crushed and came back.
We could use a repeat of year one where I again just barely beat out Nick in an epic
battle.
So
Deshaun Watson plays Indy. I'll also play Deshaun Watson.
Indy their defense has been letting down a little bit. I know. I think you got to go with Watson.
Sleeper next year, QB pick Trevor Lawrence.
I don't know if it's a sleeper Adrian pick. Peterson could very well end up on a team. Wouldn't even shock me if it was the Lions, but Frank Gore will not be on a team. I think this is Frank's last year.
I think Frank Gore will play again.
Okay.
If he plays for a team with a good supporting cast, Gallman gets like 10 to 13 points. Yeah, Gallman's been fine.
But next year
for what he is,
your QB pick. Go ahead, grab Trevor, see where he goes. Trevor for the Jets, maybe.
Trevor
Hurts can scamper. He's a scamper.
That he can.
All right, we're gonna let you go. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back again on Sunday. Bring a Week 15 action.
Job's done.
Hang out in the Discord. You'll catch us there. We got some games to do.
All right. Pray for Lamar's 70 more points.
Bless the knees.
Yep. Later.
Have a good everybody. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the subs.